Welcome back to News.ph. I'm Pia Hontiveros. With me now is a longtime businessman who wears very many hats, and I'll explain to you in a little bit why he's guesting on the show when we're talking about this pivot to China. He is the advisor to the president on entrepreneurship. He is also, this year, the chairman for the ASEAN Business Advisory Council, because the Philippines is going to be hosting the ASEAN Summit. And like I said, a longtime businessman who was at the helm of one of the country's biggest food conglomerates, Mr. Joey Concepcion. Sir, thank you very much for joining us now. So just to, we had just finished talking about China and including the trip of the president to China. You are going to be on that trip, of course.
Yeah, I will be on that trip.
Okay. Can you tell us more details about why, in what capacity, and what exactly do you hope we can get from this trip?
Well, everybody seems to be very excited. The president, of course, we have a lot of Filipino-Chinese businessmen here in the country. And the president is actually putting his bet on China, on what China can sort of reciprocate. As you know, we have the issues here with the base that has been constructed out there. Mm-hmm. And so, likewise, with every businessman out there, they want to give the president full support.
Earlier today, Charles Jose, spokesperson for the DFA, was asked in a Malacanang press conference, can you give us more details about all these MOUs and MOAs that all these businessmen are going to be signing? He said they're still being finalized. But do you have some idea what's in store for us?
Well, I only know one because it's part of our business community in Go Negosyo. It's Injapsia, who's they own the Jinjiang, and they'll be signing a MOA with their partners overseas in China. And I think they're going to double up the number of rooms that they will be building in the Philippines. So that's one of the many agreements I think that's going to be signed. But everything seems to be a go. Everybody's expected to be there by the 19th. It's very hard to say exactly what will happen. There could be something good that will happen. But rather than say it, we just wait for it to happen. Many things can change. But I think I'm looking at this full of optimism. I think the president is different. He relies on his gut feel. He believes that China is the right first person to approach, and let's see what concessions we can get from them. We can't wage war against China. They're here to stay. So what can we get out of this whole thing?
Okay, so we are not pivoting away from the United States or alliances with other, well, European Union, for example. We're not pivoting away from them and pivoting towards China and Russia.
Not at
We're not
all.
leaving that behind.
No, they still are major players in the world, and no country in their right mind would just shove them away. You know? I think we will all be surprised in the outcome in our China visit that things will turn out pretty good.
Yung mga small, micro, the SMEs, no, these are very close to your heart because of Go Negosyo. Will they also benefit?
Not directly. I think the approach here is really most of the medium-sized and large businesses are visiting China. But we're all anchored with many micro and small enterprises. As we expand our businesses, many of our smaller entrepreneurs, suppliers who are entrepreneurs are attached to the whole ecosystem. So if the country continues to grow and China comes in and invests in this country in a large way, definitely it will spur a lot of business activity which will filter down to many of the other entrepreneurs who are connected to the larger corporations. So I think the anxiety really poses what is going to happen with our relationship with China. We can't wage war against China. Even if the Americans side with us, there's no chance because, you know, you drop one bomb in the Philippines and we're finished. The whole economy will go in shambles. Let's give him the chance to try his style. His style is unique. It's really a gut feel approach. I've met with him a couple of times, and there's no playbook on Duterte. He goes on how he feels the situation is, and that's how he has run Davao for a very long time, and he has been successful as a local government official. So now this is the real case. Let's see what happens after China.
Yeah. The part of the excitement is also about what we can gain in terms of infrastructure, for example.
You know, as I said, it's like you're asking for a gift and the gift is not there. So let's see what China has to offer.
Tell us a bit more about, since you, like we mentioned earlier already, your ASEAN Business Advisory Council Chairman, Philippines hosting ASEAN. How does that fit into what the President is trying to do with China?
next year is going to be the fifth year of ASEAN, and it's very important that in the first time that the president himself is holding an international event of this magnitude, that we showcase the best.
Just to close this segment of the show, earlier you were talking about President Duterte, and you said, it's very interesting, you said there is no playbook on Duterte, and you've spoken to him several times already, you've spent a lot of time with him. How did he offer this job to you as presidential advisor in entrepreneurship, and why?
Well, I guess he's been exposed to what Go-Negosyo has been doing all over these years. He believes that helping the micro and small entrepreneurs is the way to go. That's why you see Mon Lopez there as DTI secretary, who's doing his job. That is, in the past, many DTI secretaries were focused on larger companies. This time, we will have a DTI secretary who's going to help the smaller people, because many of the micro small, which comprise 90%, 95% of the Philippine business in this country, are not playing in that level. So we have to really scale up from education to mentorship.
You've just launched a mentorship program.
Yes, we launched the Kapatid program.
Totoong mentorship program.
Yes,
As in, you don't just, this is not for show. This is a real holding them, taking by the hand.
This is a Kapatid project, a project between Go-Negosyo and DTI. And so all the way down, many private sector companies are joining in to help mentor. And I'm glad that the President spent a lot of time with us last Friday, close to 5 hours. He was very comfortable with the entrepreneurs, and that's what I saw, the different side of Duterte. In other words, he was open, people could talk to him, share their problems, they were taking pictures, autographs. And
all right, final words, sir?
Well, I think everybody is concerned on what is really happening. They expect our president to change. And we can't change his character. That's what he's made of. That's how he got elected. So as we see him move forward, I think we're going to see a different Duterte. But don't expect him to change and become a very formal guy. In fact, when he attended our Friday event, he was very casual, no socks. So we had to remove our jackets and unbutton our shirts. And no, I couldn't remove my socks. So he's a very casual person. So I think I'm very optimistic that change is happening. And we all have to be part of change. And we cannot, we have him for 6 years. So we should somehow stop complaining and start to understand that this man is out for real change.
Mr. Joey Concepcion, the Presidential Advisor in Entrepreneurship, thank you very much, sir, for joining us here in News.ph. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Pia.
And thank you for watching News.ph. I'm Pia Hontiveros. See you again next Friday.